Hello, everyone. So my name is Olivia Austin. I am an alumni of John Cabot University, and I'm sure that I've crossed paths with you guys at some point, whether it's through email or we met in person. But I'm both an alumni of John Cabot as well as an admissions counselor for John Cabot University. So since nobody's here yet, I know that you guys can kind of go back and look at this video. I just kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about my experience. And if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to just kind of pop in and ask. So I grew up in New Jersey, so I grew up in the United States, lived here my whole life, and it came time for me to decide where I wanted to go to college. And I really didn't have any idea on where I wanted to go, what I wanted to study, who I wanted to become. So I decided to attend a community college for a year because I really just was confused and lost. So I attended a community college, and while I was there, I had a friend approach me and kind of just say, my sisters attended this American university in Rome called John Cabot University. Why don't you check it out? And as soon as I even heard that was an option, it was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I applied to John Cabot. I got in, worked with financial aid, and decided to go. I had never really left the country before, didn't speak a word of Italian, didn't really know anyone in Rome, but just decided to kind of go with it anyway. Looking back now, it was definitely the best decision I ever made. I studied communications at John Cabot, and I minored in, creative writing. So that was kind of the path that I took. I loved the communications department. I can only say really positive things about it. Professor Saddam and Professor Lopez, who were the two head of the departments, completely blew my mind in their classes. They're really great people. They have really interesting stories, and they're just really incredible people to learn from. While attending John Cabot, I wrote for the newspaper. I also attended multiple lectures. We always had guest lecturers coming onto campus and kind of, having really interesting talks. A lot of the people that come onto campus are very big in, the international affairs field or political science. We have a lot of people coming from different embassies, so that's always extremely interesting. My favorite thing about John Cabot is definitely just the international student body. I made friends from all over the world. And not only that, but in the classroom, the discussions that are had are just so rich and so interesting, and there's so much to be learned, not only from your professors, but from your classmates as well. I'd be in a class and a Russian student would say something that me as an American may have never thought of before. So it's just kind of a really interesting dynamic. I see that we have some people in the group again, so if you guys, have any questions at all, feel free to kind of just pop in. At the moment, I'm just kind of telling you guys about my experience, but I would love to be able to kind of help you guys out. Are all of you guys definitely coming to John Cabot, the ones that are in here? Do you have any questions about housing, student life, classes, anything like that at all? I'll kind of give you guys a minute. All right, if not, I can kind of just talk to you guys a little bit about student life at John Cabot. So something that I always like to tell students is that there are a bunch of different ways that you can kind of go about being a student at JCU. Some students decide to travel every weekend, and that's great. If you guys want to do that, it's very easy to hop around Europe. You can hop on a plane to Paris for, €40 if you look at it at the right time. It's really great to travel around. Some students, on the other hand, decide that they really want to get to know Rome, get to know Italian culture, learn the language maybe, and that's kind of the way that some students go about it. There are countless things to do in Rome. Again, I was there for 3 years, and there's still so much of Rome that I haven't seen or explored. beautiful neighborhoods. There's countless museums. Obviously, Rome itself is an open-air museum, so you can always kind of, walk around and find something really incredible. There's a bunch of different, restaurants and cafes to go to around the city of Rome, so it really is a very rich area. We also have a lot of students who get really involved on campus. There are a bunch of different clubs and student activities and sports that you guys can participate in. One of the biggest clubs on campus is a club called Stand. It's a club run by Professor Lanzone, who is a history professor at John Cabot, who you guys should definitely take a class with. He's a really, really interesting dude. So he runs a club called Stand, and it's kind of a community service-based club, and they do a lot with, homeless shelters. They do a lot with the refugee center in Rome. And it's kind of just a really nice way to give back to the community. It's also a really great way to add something onto your resume. What's really great about John Cabot is that if you guys decide to participate in community service, I believe all you need is 15 hours, and then you get a certification of participation, and that's, kind of great to have, good to put on a resume, but again, it's also just really great to kind of give back to the community. The Student Services Office organizes a bunch of trips for you guys. They organize trips in Rome, where they take you around and, bring you to the Colosseum, the Vatican. You guys can kind of do all that, but they also bring you around the country of Italy, which is really awesome. They bring you up to Tuscany, and you guys can learn how to make olive oil. I believe there's even a trip where they take you down to Naples, and you guys can kind of, go and eat a pizza for the day and then come back. So there's just a really kind of, a bunch of cool stuff going on campus. Hey, so I just got asked a question if it was difficult to get around the city without knowing much Italian. I have to say it's not. Rome is one of the biggest tourist destinations in the world, if not the biggest. And in the main tourist areas, everyone will definitely speak English, and they know that that is the kind of the language of communication. So everyone is usually pretty good at, speaking English. It's always great to kind of learn some. When I was a student there, I learned the language. That was something that I really wanted to partake in, but I graduated with some friends who still can't speak a word. So if they were there for 4 years and got around without speaking the language, you guys definitely can too. But if you want to learn, there is a great intensive course that you can take where it's quick. You can get 6 credits out of the way, and you take a kind of fast-paced Italian course, and that's kind of a good way to learn it really quick and get some credits out of the way in one semester. Again, I'm sure you guys know this, but you don't have to take Italian. It's not a requirement to get into John Cabot, which you already know, and it's not a requirement once you get there. So you guys can choose to take Spanish, French, German, or Italian. Obviously, Italian is one of the bigger languages that the students choose to take, but it's entirely up to you guys. So for everyone just joining, I'm just letting you guys know, pop in, feel free to ask questions whenever you want. Sorry if I'm rambling a little bit, but I just kind of want to, make sure that I'm answering some of the questions that you guys have thought of or haven't asked yet. So again, feel free to pop in whenever you guys want. So I kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about orientation. Orientation at John Cabot is a pretty extensive kind of 5-day long orientation process. So what we do during orientation is we not only make sure that you guys are getting to know one another, we do a bunch of really fun icebreaker activities. It's a really great way for you guys to, get to know the other students that are coming in. But we also kind of like to make sure that you guys will know how to navigate the city of Rome. So that's another big thing that, students always ask me is, how do I get around Rome? Do I take the train? Do I take the bus? Can I walk? I always tell students, you're going to be walking around Rome. The city center of Rome, you can really kind of get from the Colosseum to the Vatican in 40-45 minutes. We're situated right in the middle of both. but you guys are pretty much going to walk everywhere. But there are definitely buses and trains and trams in the area that can kind of bring you around the city of Rome and throughout Italy. So during orientation, we actually show you guys which tram lines are the most common, where to grab the bus, how to get to the train station. We show you guys how to go in and buy a ticket, how to make sure that you're scanning it properly once you get on the public transportation. What we also do during orientation is we assign you guys skippers, which you guys will be receiving those emails soon to find out who your skippers are. And they'll kind of be, you'll be assigned to groups, and you can go around with your skipper and your group. We take you around the city of Rome. We show you around the campus. But you guys are also going to get assigned a peer mentor. This peer mentor is going to be somebody that will be able to assist you guys throughout your studies in Rome. They're going to be there, week by week. They're going to set up appointments where you guys can go and grab coffee, hang out around campus or do whatever you guys want. And they're just kind of going to be somebody that's there to listen and, help you out if you guys end up struggling. We've definitely had students use the service before. It's really great because, sometimes you might have some questions or some situations that you might not want to approach a faculty member about. So that's where this peer mentor is really great. So we're going to do this for all of our freshmen and all of our transfers, just like as a way to kind of make sure that you guys are getting situated properly. We also have a health and well-being office, which is run by Deanna Mayer. She's really great. She can help you guys with counseling, can help you guys, if you're sick and you need to go to the doctor. That was definitely one of my biggest concerns. Was, I'm somebody who gets sick a lot, and I was curious, if I get sick, where do I go? I don't speak Italian, or didn't when I first got there. Not only do we have an English-speaking doctor on campus, but the Health and Wellbeing Office actually will give you a list of English-speaking doctors in the area, and you can go to them at any point, and they can help you out. And if you want somebody from John Cabot to go with you, Deanna or one of her student workers will actually bring you to the doctor, to the hospital if there's an emergency situation, and kind of make sure that everything goes smoothly. So I just got a question about if I lived at Gianicolo at any point, and how I would, describe the living situation. I did not personally live at Gianicolo since I did transfer to John Cabot. I actually never lived in any of the housing provided by John Cabot, but I've been in the dormitories before. Gianicolo is what we're going to incorporate as a freshman dorm. So Gianicolo will only be housing our freshmen, and it's about a 5-minute walk from our main campus. It's a newer building, which is rare to come across in Rome. It's pretty nice. It's dormitory style apartment. It's a building that we own. It's 24/7 security. And you guys can kind of choose to have, I believe, a single room or up to, I believe, 5 or 6 roommates, kind of suite style. What's really great about our housing at John Cabot, both Gianicolo and the Trastevere apartments, is that we provide you guys with not only kitchen utilities, but we provide you guys with blankets, sheets, towels, so you guys don't have to worry about bringing any of that. What we also do during orientation week is we pack you guys all onto a bus and we bring you to IKEA, so that if you do want to purchase anything for your dorm, sheets aren't comfortable enough or whatnot, you guys can do that, and we'll bring you to IKEA that first week, and you guys can kind of be able to buy whatever you guys need. So do you guys have any questions about classes, anything like that? I've been asked by a few students when they're going to be able to sign up for classes. So just to kind of clarify, you guys will not be signing up for classes until you get to John Cabot. We set you up with an academic advisor during your first week, and that academic advisor will actually be with you for your entire studies at John Cabot. Each semester you'll be able to meet with them, pick classes, and kind of make sure that you're going to graduate on time, you know, you're on the right track. So you'll do that each semester, and then you'll be able to register online. We have a bunch of different classes that you guys can choose from. I believe we offer over 400 courses a semester. So there's a bunch of really great stuff that you guys can choose from. There's a bunch of really interesting classes that you guys can take. So I just got a question if it would be a good idea to sign up for classes, or if they can hold the spots. So our classes usually don't fill up too quickly, and since it is so small, John Cabot is usually pretty good at making sure that whoever needs to get in the class can get in the class. What's really great about John Cabot, one of my favorite things was that if we offer a class, so say, you know, ancient history is offered during, you know, fall semester, if you sign up for that class and only you and 3 other students sign up for it, John Cabot will not take that course away. So you guys will always be able to sign up for a class and not have to worry, you know, if there isn't enough attendance, if it'll be taken. And that's something that I always really appreciated, because it's something that really helped me kind of stay on track, to make sure that I could graduate on time. So for example, my first semester there, I needed to take a sociology class. It was a requirement, and I needed to take it in order to graduate. So I took sociology of southern Italy, which was a really interesting class. And it was only me and 2 other students. And since it was so small, we kind of, you know, got to get really intimate in class. We even took a few trips down to southern Italy. We went to Naples, we went to Pompeii, and kind of got to learn about these areas from a professor who knew all about the history of southern Italy. So that was really interesting. I just got a question on meal plans. I did personally use a meal plan. I believe I bought, I think it was like 10 meals or 15 meals, and it was something that I would always use during finals and midterms, when I didn't have time to kind of, you know, go buy food and cook or go out and have dinner. So I definitely used my meal plan. We have meals for you guys for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then we also always have snacks, coffee, you know, little croissants available for you guys. Most of our students do use a meal plan. I definitely enjoyed the open air markets in Rome. There's a few right in Trastevere, and then there's one, you know, the big famous one in Campo dei Fiori. And you guys can go to these open air markets, and they're not like open air markets in the States where they're very costly. They're extremely inexpensive. So what I would do every morning is kind of go out to the market, buy my fruits and veggies, make breakfast, buy tomatoes to make a tomato sauce for lunch, and it can be relatively inexpensive. Eating out is also, I'm currently here in New York City, and I can tell you that eating in Rome is far less expensive. So you can go out to a restaurant in Rome and spend, you know, €10 on a plate of pasta. You know, a huge plate of pasta, and it's delicious and fresh and wonderful, and it's relatively inexpensive. But I promise you guys, if you don't already cook, it will be something that you'll be partaking in once you get to John Cabot. We also have cooking classes that we can offer for you guys. We teach you guys how to make pasta. We teach you guys how to make multiple different sauces. So that's another really great way to kind of learn something a little extra on campus. There are a bunch of grocery stores in the area. I believe right in walking distance from campus there's 4 or 5 that I can think of off the top of my head. That's another thing that we do during orientation, is we take you guys into grocery stores and we kind of help you guys get accustomed to the Italian supermarket. You know, show you what's flour, where the eggs might be, kind of things like that, that it might be a little bit different from the States. So that's another thing that we like to do during orientation. Hi everybody, sorry about that, technical difficulties, but I'm back. So again, just to kind of answer that question, especially for our first year students, so for our University of Southern California or Delaware students, we really do try to make sure that you guys can get into the classes that you need, specifically because you do, you're only there for a short period, so those classes that you do need are crucial. We understand that, so we're pretty good about making sure that you guys get into the classes that you pick. That's something that students are always a little nervous about, is that, you're coming to campus and, you have to wait until orientation to sign up. But what's great is that John Cabot is pretty small, so, you usually do get into the classes that you need. I never, I was there for 3 years and I never once experienced not being able to get into a class that I wanted to take, so. So just kind of as a piece of advice for all of you guys is just get involved as much as you can. Go to the guest lectures, go to the events that we have on campus. We always have multicultural events that we're throwing. Those are a lot of fun. Join clubs, participate in sports. It's not only a good way to kind of, get the most out of John Cabot, but it's also a really great way to get to know other students. It's a great way to make friends. So I definitely just advise you guys to kind of get involved as much as you can. Alright, so I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have any last minute questions, feel free to just write, wait, kind of slow down, give me a minute. But if not, I'm going to sign off. You guys can always reach out to me. I'm sure that you all know that. I'm sure that I've told you guys this a bunch already, but you can always feel free to reach out to me by email, or you can reach out to me on my phone, text, call, whatever you guys need. So my email that you guys can reach out to me on is oaustin@johncabot.edu. So that's OAUSTIN@johncabot.edu. It's kind of the best way to reach out to me. If you guys can think of anything, please feel free, reach out. I'm always here. Best of luck to you guys. This is a great opportunity, and I'm so happy that so many of you guys are willing to kind of take that final leap. I know it can be a bit intimidating, but I promise you it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So thanks so much for joining me here. And again, feel free to reach out if you need anything else. Thanks, guys.